if that was illuminating for you as it was for me the first time I saw it, but what it really illuminated for me was that we're just so wrong. Justin Trudeau's not stupid, he's smart. Right? He's so smart that he can delude himself, right? And I will say that, not as a joke, there's two people in the room that know him fairly well. Kevin O'Brien went to high school with Justin Trudeau. Thought he was one of the smartest guys at his school, so there you go. You can ask him about that experience if you like. And Warren Kinsella is here as well, who has worked with him, and I think he would say the one mistake you should never make about him is that he's actually extremely smart. Warren's view, I think, concerns about Justin has been the goals that he's pursuing, and that he's actually been very good at pursuing them. So anyways, I think that it's an interesting thing to think that sometimes people that are just not getting simple things might actually be quite smart, not stupid as we thought. Okay, so Gowinder, we've got you for a few minutes for some questions and answers, and I'll start off just a little bit about how does a computer scientist give up his tech career and decide to pursue writing and research on psychology? Okay, with that, I'm now going to bring up, better just make sure, I'm bringing up Tim McMillan and Chris Tucker. And I'm going to let Tim McMillan do the introduction of Chris Tucker, but our topic is the United States, which has become more topical since I first asked Chris to come up and do this. So I'll turn it over to Tim. Modern Miracle Network's vision statement is imagine a Canada where no political party runs against Canadian oil and gas or Canadian resources. And what we just heard from Chris Tucker was a socialist from Berkeley in the United States is pro-fracking. And he's talking about, I think first of all, went through how they were fairly aggressive in terms of communicating and defending oil and gas campaigns in California to win, reverse gas bans, so on and so forth. And he's going to say, well, we have a peace dividend coming up. The idea that now that both Democrats and Republicans are pro-fracking and pro-energy development, we can potentially slip into the background. We can potentially make oil and gas a less political issue, and we can rely on third parties, right? So I think I just want to point out, there's the Modern Miracle Network vision for Canada. I don't think we're there yet. After the break, we're going to hear a different story from the Right Honourable Liz Truss, where even Conservatives were against a Prime Minister that wanted to end fracking bans.
There's so many fascinating things, from who is Tommy Robinson really, and what really happened in the Brexit negotiations. But I got to stick to the key thing, and also the key thing for us as oil and gas people. And I'll start with what ideas you would have to successfully reverse a fracking ban. And I'm asking for a friend who has one. You see people coming up after the fact saying, "I love your budget." Remind me, I was at Steve Harper recently. He says, "I can't believe how popular I am in Montreal now. Everybody wants to talk to me." He says, "I walk down the street, people go, he says, I'm starting to wonder maybe Donald Trump was right, the election was stolen, But the interesting thing in the 2015 election here, we had this scenario you're talking about where there were 100 third parties talking for Justin Trudeau and the net zero, and also third parties attacking the Harper record, and there were no third parties, maybe two or three. There was no third parties that election, and the mainstream media was against them. And he says, look, we just could not get our message out. No, there was no way to get the message out. And so that, so just I'll get to the question. So Pierre Poilievre now, I think from the Harper experience, is saying, look, business, if you want me to implement things for you, don't hire lobbyists to come knock on my door. Fire them, in fact, he says. Don't come yourself to knock on my door. Go talk to the public and convince them of the policy, and then I'll be happy to implement it for you. What do you think of, because Pierre's been quite aggressive in those comments. What do you think of that?
He's right. I'll be interested to know if Canadian businesses are actually doing that.
There's many in this room, and many of them are supporting us. But I think it's a good question. To what extent is business going to respond to Pierre? And I'm interested in your opinion.
Because businesses are responding to their incentives, which is to keep their heads down.
So tell us from your perspective, I've learned never to compliment Boris Johnson in front of the Prime Minister. But tell us from your perspective, Brexit hasn't been anything like what the Financial Times is telling us. What do you think the net impact has been?
So in terms of, I always said, and this is my position for some time, the EU was never the cause of Britain's problems, but it's also not the solution to Britain's problems.
But what I'm hearing you saying is that there's a crisis coming up for energy, there's a crisis coming up over government spending, and how does that's all going to get blamed on Brexit, isn't it?
Well, it probably will be by the FT, but I don't think most people actually think that is the cause.
Tell me, just relative to that point, I think you said that Britain now has the highest energy costs in Europe or
The developed world.
in the developed world. How is this not already creating a crisis in Britain?
Well, the frog has been boiled, so
The Prime Minister is supporting groups like ARC, Jordan Peterson is here supporting a group like Moderator because of her thoughts that building a network in civil society in the UK is a potential part solution to the things going on. So I want to thank you, and I hope you all join me in thanking the Prime Minister for being with us.